Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
We live in a world where business models and customer expectations are changing faster than ever. As a result, digital is driving this change to improve customer experience, streamline operations, and of course, develop new revenue streams. Now, the moral of the story is that for an enterprise, controlling its digital destiny is not just important, but essential to drive tangible business outcomes. So, how can your enterprise accelerate its digital transformation journey? That's what we are here to find out on this show, presented by Hewlett-Packard Enterprise and Livemint, titled Control Your Digital Destiny. I'm joined by two distinguished guests who will share their insights on the topic. Let me quickly introduce them to you. Mr. V.S. Parthasarathy, who is the Group CFO and Group CIO at the Mahindra Group. And of course, we're also joined by Mr. Som Satsangi, Managing Director of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise India. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Controlling Your Digital Destiny, that's the title of the show. And it's a very important question, especially in the times that we live in. So let me start with you, Mr. Parthasarathy. Why is it important for an organization to take charge of its digital destiny, take charge of its digital journey, rather, in today's world?
Let me give you by giving an example to start with. We were having a plant in Chakan where we wanted to produce 300,000 vehicles in first phase. But there was a condition. We wanted 39 variants and models to come out of that plant. And I checked out that there is no other plant in the world which could do something like that. And I said, but I want it done because this is the need of the customer. This is need what we have in the business. And what we achieved is through machine learning, IoT, preventive maintenance schedules, planning process being possible, we put up a state-of-the-art facility which was born digital in a sense, okay, when we put up that plant. And lo and behold, we were able to produce 39 models and so on. And the next plant will even be better than this, yeah, when you put up. So this is why it's important. You can do almost the impossible possible in this journey. The next bigger thing I think is that the world now has to be ICE, okay? And ICE means only innovative and adaptive companies will survive on the face of two challenges that we face: climate change and experiential commerce. So when you have these two big giants there, which is forcing change in this one, only the innovative and adaptive companies will survive. And what is that innovative and adaptive companies going to do? They're going to adapt being digital, going to be adapt being able to meet the customer needs. That's the broad thing. And if you have to look somewhere into history, you don't have to look far. Only look at the Fortune 500 companies. Take 1955. Take 2016, the last time I saw it, it was 12%. If you see it today, maybe it is 11% only companies survive.
That's right.
So 88% companies have fallen through. So I think it is therefore so important for us to kind of take that destiny and change our business model. It's my contention that I have 11 industries, 22 industries that I look with 11 sectors spanning it, and I don't think there is a single industry which will not have business model change.
Let's get your view on this question of why companies need to take charge of their digital journey.
Yeah, Gautam, so just to add what Partha has said, digital disruption is changing the way business used to operate in the past. And it has created many new business models, and you like mentioned whether it's a Uber or Airbnb, and a lot of this new business model which has come, which was not existent couple of years back kind of thing. So how this digital disruption is changing every industry and every segment, and you mentioned about the quota. It's one example, and Parth also mentioned, if you see the legacy, a lot of large companies who were at one point of time having a market share of in excess of 2/3 of the market share, they're no more there this thing. Even in the current age of organization, if you see, one example can be Yahoo. At one point of time, Yahoo was having a great market share. Suddenly, Google came in, and Google went into a multiple digital strategy and innovation, and today they're far ahead of what Yahoo has done it, because Yahoo decided not to get into the same digital transformation. So from HP standpoint, we believe that it's very important for every organization to start looking for the digital destiny, and they have to control it in order to be relevant in the market, in order to stay ahead of their competition. It's very critical for every organization to start thinking how the digital disruption is coming on their way and create a strategy and planning to be ahead of their competition to stay alive in the marketplace.
All right, so let's extend that question on what are the key components for a truly digital enterprise. What would you say those are?
Yeah, I was thinking about it because this is in a show like this, that's the question I asked, and I thought the acronym should be digital. Yeah, D is digitalization first, I being innovation led. G is getting the ethos of a digital organization. I is insights and information first. Okay. T stands for technology-led because that's what is going to be the basis of it. A is adaptive and innovative. L is lead from the front or be left behind. So I think if you were to put the components, I'll put this into saying be digital for what it stands for.
That's interesting because the definition itself of what digital means has changed for all of us, and we don't know where that is going to lead itself to, right? And open up new possibilities for companies, for customers. What's your view on this? You've gotten an acronym from Mr. Parthasarathi on this. How would you extend on?
So the way we look at it. From the digital standpoint, that every organization, every industry has got a different need. What is relevant in manufacturing may not be very relevant in BFSI and this thing. So even if I look the Partha's many organization, what he manages, probably the digital strategy for various company may vary from organization to organizations. So from our standpoint, we look the three core element of any digital strategy and all. And the first one is how digital is going to change the customer experience on ongoing basis. Second, how this digital is going to bring more revenue stream, reduce the cost, and optimize the business operations. And third one, which is very critical, that how digital is going to bring the new business models kind of thing. And like we discussed, Uber, Ola, and all of those things, the new business model. So these three things are very, very relevant. And from HP standpoint, we believe that for doing these three things, the three core fundamental things which are critical is one is the technology, second is your people, and the third one is the economy and the financial aspect of the business.
Your view on the way in which Mahindra Group, which straddles so many businesses, which between a traditional business and of course a modern business, how does the group leverage technology, AI, IoT to deliver business outcomes?
I think what we are doing, I can put it into three buckets. Yeah, being digital, born digital, and digital first. Okay, so kind of coming new into this one. So or maybe I can say being digital, digital first, and born digital. So you can put it into these three buckets. So let me talk about being digital. So what we think is the future, each function has to be digital. Okay, I joke with my finance guys and say, hey, I need a CFO on the terminal. And they ask me, why the CFO? Because I said, because I want to still be around. But the key thing is that that's the kind of change that we expect, right? So Industry 4.0 is for the manufacturing side, and it's going to change the entire thing. So this is each function, each area being led by digitization. So if we'll have Industry 4.0, the equivalent of R&D 4.0, finance and a terminal, if you so have it, yeah, and intermediation of the entire, combination within the organization. So that's being digital. So we'll have digital come in every phase. And digital first is initiative saying that whatever we're doing now, can we have digital as a basis of creating? For example, we came out with DigiSense. Okay, so now every automobile, there is IoT, it goes to the cloud, and then you can get information, analytics. You can bring down the cost of maintenance, warranty, everything through this process. So what we said is DigiSense, can it do not only for auto, but every mobility device that we have. So it can do the 3-wheelers, 2-wheelers, 4-wheelers, 8-wheelers, whatever you wanted, or even airplane. So, and that is called DigiSense, yeah. So then we said, okay, can we think about how employees can engage in the same way? So we created Me Connect. So, okay, so POM-based is a key concept which is coming there. You talked about showroom. So that's another one. So we then said, can we create a process around it? How do we do in future? So we are saying that the customer-facing unit will be called, say in auto, it will be called ADC, Auto Digital Center. So you think digital and be born digital as you, digital first as you go forward.
Look at the applications and don't use technology just for technology.
So ADC looks at customer in, what does he want? And then we say, how do we fill, which is digital delivery center. So you think digital while delivering, so you don't think manual first and then try to replicate what you write down into a computer program, but what is required into digital into that program. So that's the second initiative. The third one is saying that new companies will be born digital. So you give an example. Tringo, what we said is how can we be a solution provider on an experiential commerce. I'm not saying e-commerce because the customer wants to experience some way. And it is different, like we just said, for different industries. So Tringo is one of them. Smart Shift does the same for city transportation needs, intra-city transportation needs. Then we have what is called as M2All, which is an organization I run, which is to say that how do we get customers comprehensive end-to-end, order taking to final delivery to even having the marketing theme done. And we are doing a great amount of work there. And I can go on and on for the whole day because
the
each
world
sector,
is your oyster.
You talked about blockchain. So we come out with blockchain in Mahindra Finance, which kind of does the entire thing. So every company, and there is a nerve center within the group where digital is being, treated almost like the saying, there is a saying in Hindi which said, Karka manka dari de manka manka fir, meaning put out the, don't just, if you want to pray, don't just do this, the mind, heart should change.
Absolutely.
So we are trying to do that through the culture change of saying, put out what is in your hand, change what is in your heart.
All right, so that's a fascinating look into how the Mahindra Group has embraced digital in its DNA. Well, let's take a short break on that note, but there's lots more to discuss about the ins and outs of digital transformation journeys for enterprises. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. If you have just tuned in, we're here to discuss how your enterprise can take charge of its digital destiny with insights from V.S. Parthasarathy from the Mahindra Group and Som Satsangi from HPE. Gentlemen, let's dive right back into the discussion. Som, in the previous segment, you had mentioned about 3 important components of a digital transformation journey. Elaborate on that.
Okay. So from HPE's standpoint, we believe that the 3 core elements of any digital transformation journey for enterprises, first is the technology. That's play a very important role. And technology has got multiple aspects. One is at the data center and one at the edge. At the data center, we are the pioneer in bringing the software-defined infrastructure for our customer, and that span from the on-prem to off-prem to cloud to any multi-cloud environment kind of thing, so that you can move your workload from on-prem to off-prem or any cloud seamlessly. So that's one area where we feel that it's very critical and important for all enterprises to look. Second, most of the data now is getting generated at the edge. As per the Gartner, 80% of the data by 2020 will be generated at edge, which is not going to come back to your data center. So it's very important to have the intelligent edge in such a manner that it can not only process the data, it can analyze the data and bring the outcome. So again, the intelligent edge is very, very critical. So from technology aspect, both at the core data center and the edge, it's a very important aspect. The second aspect, what I said, the people. Recently, McKinsey did some very interesting case study where they said 80% of the digital transformation project in large enterprises and failed. And the reason being the 2 aspects is the people and adopting the people to change the environment the way digital is bringing the changes, reskilling the purpose. And also a lot of these places, because the management has not provided the coverage, and that is why this project failed. So it's very important for enterprises. It has to be boardroom discussion. It has to come top down from CEO level that this is what the digital transformation journey we are going. Unless it is done and bring the change management, reskilling the team underneath, it's not going to be successful. The third part is the economy and the financial aspect. Any project, any digital journey, when you put it, it has to bring the economy. Today, what is happening, a lot of large enterprises, they have spent huge amount of money on their core infrastructure, and that's what we call is the tapped assets kind of thing, which you are not able to utilize it better. And that's the place we bring our HP Financial Services, and also consumption model. Based on that things, you consume, and what you consume, you pay for that thing. So services at the data center or at the edge, actually you just pay what you consume kind of thing. That gives you a lot of flexibility to give the fund back so that you can put more and more fund in innovation rather than spending those assets onto the infrastructure and creating the infrastructure which you are not going to be utilizing those things. So these are the three core fundamental pillar which we feel for any digital transformation journey are critical, whether it's technology or it's people, and also the financial and economy aspect of a business.
How do you think organizations can leverage the hybrid IT approach to get the best of both public and private clouds, in your opinion?
I think it's a very interesting and important question. Okay, first and foremost is we have some legacy data centers, but more importantly, even otherwise, we need to have something where the basics are all confidentiality and little bit of self-dependency. You need a little bit of Swaraj, and also a little bit of discipline, right? So self-rule also determines that we have something which we control our destiny. So it will be a private cloud or organizational data center. Then you have peaks and troughs, and we should be able to expand and contract as then business need comes. And that's where it's so important with the solutions like pay-per-use, using the cloud to do more than just basic. If you do it within the organization, it's a waste of resource, because then you'll have to size it by about double what you need on an average time, right? But you can't do it because it's too costly. But now it's possible. So the digital is making the impossible possible.
And speaking of business value to customers, Mr. Satsangi, how do you see HPE helping customers in the manufacturing vertical embrace that digital transformation journey and, of course, tap the value that they didn't even know they had in their companies?
Okay, so again, there are two aspects of it. One, the basic fundamental building block of any manufacturing organization is their core ERP system. And traditionally in India, more than 90% of the manufacturing organization, they have gone with SAP ERP system. And HP play a very important and critical role, and we are the undisputed leader in that things. Now, most of these manufacturing organizations are moving for the SAP HANA migration roadmap, because that's where the SAP is pushing very hard. And that's their digital strategy, which every manufacturing organization are moving. And the good part is that, again, HP continue to be undisputed leader in that SAP HANA space in India. And thanks to Mr. Partha Sarthi's organization, recently they decided to move enhance their SAP HANA journey, and they have chosen HPE as a partner to the choice. That's one big building block, because that decides the basic foundation of any manufacturing organization, starting from supply chain to CRM to shop floor automation and other things. The second thing which Mr. Partha Sarthi talked about is Industry 4.0. And that's a place where this IoT, advanced IoT sensor is going to be making a huge change in the entire organization in manufacturing. The way today they operate is starting from shop floor to predictive maintenance to preventive maintenance, and also, let's say, take the example of Mahindra & Mahindra, entire fleet management, how they're going to driving it. And that's a place, again, HP has got a lot of solution in this area. We have also partnered with some of the leaders in these things like ABB with the advanced IoT technology. We work very closely to provide end-to-end solution for the manufacturing organization based on the IoT sensor and devices, starting from shop floor automation to connected car or connected vehicles and managing predictive and preventive maintenance. And all of those things as a provider of services in Industry 4.0, digital is playing a very, very critical and important role. And that's a place where HP is again leading from the forefront.
All right, and Mr. Parthasarathy, your summary statements, how do you see HP helping the Mahindra Group in its digital transformation journey from here on? You've come so far, what's next?
One of the key things we have to look is that the time that we looked at each other, our customer and vendor, our customer and supplier, is all over. I don't know where one starts and where one ends. It's strategic alliance. We are joined at the hip in this journey because we are seeing a bigger change out in the field. And that's why this is an era of partnerships.
It's all about partnership now. All right. On that note, let's wrap up this discussion. Gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on how companies can control their digital destiny. And of course, thank you to our viewers for tuning in to this special presentation.
Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.